Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to an exciting episode this morning, which will also help through the holidays and actually at any time. So, my name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and it is my pleasure to be here with you on this glorious day in northern Vermont with the snow sparkling away to talk about so I have a conversation about letting others be right. And it sounds so easy, but it's just so hard. And we can ask ourselves, why do we enjoy being right so much? What is it about being right that just gives us some kind of fix or inner thrill? Because we get all pumped when we're right. And it also comes down to do I really have this want or need to be right, or do I want to experience inner peace? So, of course, why it feels so good is because it's all about the ego getting, a big fix. The ego is getting a big fix when we're right because it's a way for us to. The ego likes to elevate, and even though it doesn't mean that we're being evil demons, right? It can be that the ego is a little out of whack, and it's getting some kind of fulfillment from elevating over somebody we may even really love and care about. And so it's also important to realize that when we put so much work into being right in a conversation, like called conversational editing. I need to throw a shout out to Richard Carlson for that because I borrowed that phrase from him. And don't sweat the small stuff. So when we edit conversationally, that takes an enormous amount of mental energy, so much mental energy, and it can also cause agita. Agita is an Italian word that just stems from agitate. When we get that just yucky feeling in our tummies, or it can just cause agita. Well, or not so much, because we can also again do this with people we adore. And what else we want to say about this? I guess we have it in our heads sometimes that somehow it's our job, at least in that moment, in that conversation, that it's our job to educate someone, or to, prove to them somehow that our point of view is the right one. It can be about, current events or, politics, or it can even be within our own field, right? So, whatever your own thing is, like, for me, it's psychology, right? Positive psychology, teaching about Minecraft, teaching about well-being. And still, in a conversation out there in the world, it isn't my job in any way, shape, or form to educate anybody on positive psychology or well-being. It's my job to educate my Minecrafters at Champlain, but that's really it. And when I'm, requested to do some sort of thing like a workshop or be on a panel for something or a podcast, because that's kind of what I'm signing up for. But out in the world, it's not my job to educate anybody. And if you've ever been on the other side of it, which I'm sure we all have, and people are, educating us, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't, we can, it's the opposite of, that they're doing the elevating. Well, if they're elevating, that has us feeling underneath, like, what is it that I'm doing or saying or thinking that has this person in this conversation feeling the need to, tell me like it is, right? To educate me on whatever it is. And it can feel demeaning, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. So when we can sort of realize this is the ego talking, because the authentic self, of course, has no need to be right. The authentic self can know that she or he or they are right, and they just don't have to prove it. They have nothing to prove, because when we're walking around in our authenticity, residing in our authentic self and living in our truth, it's enough that we just know we're right. We don't need to prove it to anybody. We're not getting that urge to react and respond. Because we just sort of know it ourselves. So letting others be right in an everyday conversation takes practice, right? Because we do get some kind of fix off not doing so, even though it's not the healthiest and doesn't go anywhere good. So of course, practicing whatever we practice, we inevitably get good at. Whether it's playing the violin, playing soccer, learning Swahili, anything we eventually get good at, and then it also takes less effort. So rather than get into a battle of the egos, which also has, especially if we're having a conversation with people we actually love and adore, because we can do this on autopilot a lot. That has people getting defensive, even if they don't tell you. And so when we sort of cease to enter into a battle of the egos, then those in the conversation, friends, family, will become less defensive and more loving and kind, and it's just a all around better way to go. So, this is a short one today because especially during the holidays, I mean, I think this conversation is a good one to have, really at any time of year. Though especially during the holidays when people are thrown together, um, who wouldn't maybe normally spend time together, a lot of that can be good, but a lot of that can be tense and stressful because, that cousin 3 times removed you don't see except once a year, and they're gonna start with their opinions and their politics and, all their advice about what to do about the Rona vaxes and boosters, and it's just blah, 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 blah. So if we go into the holidays with this, dropping the rope, put the shield down kind of thing, you're gonna have a much, much better time, a much better use of your life minutes because you'll have inner peace, just kind of sitting back and taking it all in and also just choosing not to let anything offend you. Just sit back. Okay. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.